Someone really needs to clean those windows. Sal's the only other person up here at the moment, so I guess it'll have to be her. I'm sorry, Sal, but the windows are your job. In the storage room, no changes here. I'm just going to do a quick and to the point little starting bit. This is a mess. The last few episodes I've put out have been longer cuts of just general raw multiplayer stuff where we're all just messing around. And when I'm just talking and recording and all that kind of thing, I, as you can see, think even less than I normally do. So it's really... I'm just taking it one step at a time, just placing one block after the other, and it's not until I've finished do I realize the mess that I've created. The reason, if you watch those long episodes, if you haven't, then the reason why this is such a mess is because it was sort of all the starting gear all crammed into one space, and the refinery room has been made, so I moved the refineries out of here. The idea is that I'm going to have a spare room here. I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for yet, but I quite like the idea of it being a kind of headquarters. Maybe place down a table or something where we can sit around and plan our exploits. So hopefully I'm going to be able to get rid of a lot of this stuff. In fact, I know I will be able to. So that cargo container, all of the piping, the oxygen, I'm going to make a full room of oxygen tanks. I'm going to have a big oxygen store. Not just oxygen, but for hydrogen as well. Mainly for hydrogen, actually. It's to power like when I go down to the surface, I've got to make sure I've got the fuel to get back up, so I figure I might as well take it from here. Actually, maybe that's not the best idea. Maybe building it down there there's far more water down there. I'd have my hydrogen store down there, but I guess to start with at least. It'll only be small. It'll be a few bottles, so it'll share the oxygen generator and another vent, that kind of thing. So I'll be able to move that out of here as well. The assemblers are my next thing, so by the time that after this little first bit of the video, when I come back, hopefully the assemblers will be moved over if I haven't gotten distracted, and I'll maybe a reactor room or something. And maybe that's starting to get a bit too big. We're not supposed to be building these huge stations. That's the to-do list so far. Some things have gone. I've got to add more. On the med bay. So in here, this is an airlock that I built under the influence of a multiplayer collaboration. It's not particularly good, and I'll show you why. I want to go outside. I should put my helmet on. Really? What's happening? Is my helmet... Oh, my helmet was already off. So the one time I want to show it off, it doesn't happen. Basically, it vents. You open the door. No oxygen here. Oxygen comes in, fills this area, and then right there. And then every time you want to go out, you basically waste. Is it really not going to happen? Every time so far, I have been thrown out that door. In fact, the way that I've been getting out is by opening it and quickly sneaking around the side so that I don't get pushed away. Such is my engineering brilliance. Anyway, down here is... I'm going to get pushed back here. I did. There's my jetpack on. What's Anuba's talking about? I spent the entire time he was playing trying to interrupt him recording, but I wasn't successful. And he just did it once, unintentionally. And, yeah. Yeah, he's just spent a long time. He lost 2 wheels of his rover, and it was all sloped down on one side, and he spent... I think it was about an hour and a half digging it out and getting those wheels back on. That's what he spent today doing. So that'll be his next episode, I think. He's going to put it all in a big montage, and yeah. Yes, this is my refinery room. I'll show you from the outside again. I built this with in the multiplayer session. Except I put all the refineries back one, so I had to move it forward and put some modules on it, make them a little more efficient. 3 will be enough. And down here is going to be my little assembly area. So I'm thinking along here could be the assemblers, so I should be able to get, as long as I've counted this right, 1 and then 2, so there'll be 4 there, and I might be able to get another couple down in there, although I don't know if I'm going to need that many. Then I'll leave a gap in the middle for a catwalk that'll come down and sort of the stairs into the back here, and I'll maybe put some, don't need that up, some aesthetic kind of things to make that slightly. I just realized this is going to take, I thought I could show you all this in 2 minutes, but I've built too much. One thing that I do quite like, do I have my light on? No. So in this room, see the lights are slightly green, and over there slightly red. I don't know why I like that, I just do. So I'll just show you that quickly from outside, and then I'll go away so that this can fit a little bit more into this episode. And am I going to get vented? There we go. Little push. Maybe it's just, it wasn't enough when I was on the ground. So here we go, that's the refinery. See, I can never get those lights, I can never get lights right in general. I do tend to like them up higher, to be brighter than a lot of people, like other people prefer. It's my personal preference. I guess that's partially because I record, and YouTube does tend to make things slightly darker, and I render my videos down quite highly. Like, I have a fairly low bit rate so that I can upload them within a fairly low bit rate, I mean, so I can upload them within a reasonable time, which makes them slightly worse quality, but especially in Space Engineers, I don't really see it, except it makes it... I'm wondering if all the meteors are coming from the same direction all the time. I think that's the only direction I've seen them go. What was I saying? Oh yes, so the video is slightly, a little bit hazy, and the blacks tend to run together a little bit. Basically, I'm just poking, holes in my own video. These are all the problems with it. And when that happens, then, especially in the dark, the lights and the differences and the tones of the lighting don't quite show up in the same way that they do normally. So I make things a little bit brighter and have a little bit more of an obvious difference. And it shows up better in a video, but people tend to not like them as much. Perhaps you don't like them in any way. That's the assembly area. That red light's a little strong. I've got to turn that down. And the way that I built that, not that you can really see without that light, I'm just trying different things out. I don't like any of them. I'm not doing well with this sort of... I'm not even doing very well with modular. This is basically just a square station with growths off of it. But I'm trying different techniques, different things. This one was a little bit on the end here, kind of just looks weird, and I didn't have a place to put the words. I've got words on the refinery up there, mostly just to show off when the others come up, just to say that, these are all our wings. We've got these separate areas to build stuff, and Anuba's spent an hour and a half playing with wheels. So yeah, that's what I've got so far. And that one up there, that green one, is in, basically. So that drilling ship that Sal's in the process of making is going to dock here, and that's out. So that's the stuff going out there. I would like to put a big fancy... How much stuff do I have? A bit too much. I would like to put a big fancy sorting system in again, but again, the problem is I have very specific tastes in the way that I manage my inventories in pretty much all games, and with the sorting system it becomes a bit restrictive. You can't just move them about in any way you please, and I find it difficult to then make those systems. You need a lot of space for all of the different sorters so that I can have lots of options, because it's not just a straight from this to this to this to this. It's, you know, it's from this to this unless this, or a toggle for an option so that I can override it in case I want to do something else. And it starts to get very complicated, and it just doesn't quite work out the same way. Like, this is what I do. So that's where my resources are. It'd be a bit more difficult again if we had smaller cargo areas, because we would be making use of more cargo containers. But then, you know, to clear out the assemblers, which you do need to do occasionally because it doesn't properly manage those. Once that gets full, it just goes nope. And then that's it. And to do that, like, I don't mind clicking like that every now and then. And to do that with a sorter, I'm going to have to build like a separate building between these two in order to house the conveyors and the sorters and so forth. So that way there's a way out and back in so that the assemblers can clear themselves. I need to build a toggle, which I know how to do. I did that in the last season, but I don't know if I want to do it again. It seems like too much of an effort for something that can be solved with a couple of double clicks. Again, it's personal preference, and Sal's probably going to get annoyed. Oh, that's right, I built some solar panels. I don't know why. I'm not sure on the construction wing yet. Maybe for small ships I'll have a little area. Actually, I just had the idea then. I will have a construction area, but I'll have it outside. Maybe an interior area for the small ships, but like a projector and a nice connector that's nice and close to get to, and that kind of thing, so I can build a ship that size just outside of this thing, because I've got a couple of boosters that will help get the ship back up here, and I'm not going to go down to the planet with the little Tina until I've got those boosters built. I might go down there a little earlier than I thought, because the plan with us meeting up seems to be not going as well as I'd hoped, because a rift has formed between us. I mean, I don't like them. They're ground scum. I don't want anything to do with them. I want to live up here. I'll go down there and take their stuff, but this is the place to be. The space is better. So I don't even think I want to work with them. I'm just going to stay up here with Sal. Take their stuff and come back and live up here. Don't want anything to do with them, so I'm not going to even tell them I'm going down there to take their stuff. I was thinking about flying by Anubis, who's on the other side of the planet over there, and just dropping off a whole bunch of materials, but I mean, he's been on the ground too long. He should be in space by now. It's getting to his head, thinking that solar panels are important. Anyway, I'll be back soon. It's the next day, and I've finished my little assembly room. That's not very pretty. I mean, this entire room isn't that nice. These lines are really annoying me. They're the same color, but lines appear randomly all over the station, so they're constantly just lines in different patterns every time the server restarts, and I don't understand it. In here, she's got 6 assemblers. 6 assemblers. I'm going to have 5 of them on assembly, 1 on disassemble. They're supposed to be working together, the other 5 in cooperative mode, which is the way that I normally do things, but cooperative mode seems to have just stopped right now, so only one of those assemblers is working, which is fun. It's been, like, I have to, like, right after I finish this, I've got to restart the server because everyone's having so many different bugs. Spider-Man at the moment is lost in space. His thrusters won't turn on. He just left the planet's surface again, and his thrusters just won't work. So apparently the only way to stop that is to do a server restart. Oh, in there I also got rid of the, not that you can really see it, I got rid of the assemblers down in there because they're in the other spot. Those solar panels are just very crudely put up there. You can tell that the hangar door does nothing. I've also added a little building area out the back here, nicely lit up. This is the start of my first booster pod. I'm going to build 2 of these before I go down to the planet's surface. I'll just switch it over so you can see the whole thing. I'm going to do I think an entire episode just on these booster pods. So I put a fair amount of effort into them. So I'm going to build 2 of them. You can see the merge block point there. I'm going to have 2 of them. I'm going to snap them onto the side. I kind of forgot about the snapping on bit when I built this thing, so I think I'm going to have to remove those 2 little things, or just one. Maybe just that one there. And then put a merge block on there, and that'll snap so that the thruster there will be pointing the same direction as that large thruster, back this way. And then I'll snap another one on the other side. I don't think it really needs 2, but it'll just be a little bit faster. Perhaps more fuel efficient, I'm not sure. I've got to work that out yet. I do actually have a spreadsheet for all the calculations required to get that thing. Basically, that is just a quick way to get pretty much anything that it'll merge to into space. And then it will return. So I'm going to build a launch pad down there. The launch pad, in order for me to launch, requires... I'll have to put another merge block. I'll probably put another merge block coming off here. So there'll be like a rotor arm, if you pretend that way down is the planet. So there'll be an arm on a rotor that comes up and then has a merge block that merges onto there. So it holds this entire thing vertical. I've done this in creative, so hopefully this works in survival. And then the booster pods will fire up. I'll have them run for maybe a second, and then the merge block will flick off, and the entire arm that was up and down there will collapse back towards the ground. I'm going to die. And then the ship will blast off back up here. So I'll do my first run down there and build that sometime soon, and then when I have to go back up, I'll show off those booster pods, 'cause I'm quite proud of them. They're nowhere near finished, I don't think. Lots of things to do, but I quite like them. So that will be all for today, I think. Another show and tell episode. Hopefully you don't mind the longer multiplayer episodes. I personally, I do quite like myself watching multiplayer episodes in 45-minute chunks, so I've been doing that. So hopefully that's alright, but I will sort of specify at the start of every episode, or in the video description, what sort of episode it is. You don't have to watch any of this series in order, really. You just pick and choose the bits that you like, or the styles that you like. I think the main 3 styles would be kind of show and tell like this, the talky ones where I just talk about things, or the I build with you kind of thing, where I build a project on camera. And also the various multiplayer stuff. Yes, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. If you're watching my videos but don't actually own Space Engineers and are wondering if you should get it, then just a public service announcement. Expect this. Expect a lot of this.